Hi everyone, I'm John Pawlak. Welcome back to Eye on Harness Racing. Well, Triple Crown season is at its busiest, with rich and prestigious races on both the trot and pace this past weekend. This past Saturday night at Yonkers Raceway, Judge Joe, sold to Italian interests only 1 week ago, paid a dividend to his new owners when he dominated in the $670,000 Yonkers Trot Final. It was a 156-1 victory in which the favorite led every step of the way for driver Ron Pierce.
Here comes the judge, Judge Joe by 3.5. Cal Chips Fruit second, toward the inside, Naysay Hanover third. It's 5 lengths back to Citation Lindy, but the Yonkers Trot Final goes to Judge Joe.
Frank Drucker, publicity director at Yonkers Raceway, was in the winner's circle following Judge Joe's win to get some post-race reaction.
Was it a take no prisoner strategy from the get-go?
No, not really. I was just going to take things as they came, but I had a horse on the outside of me there as we straightened up down the back. I looked back and there was one behind him, and I figured there's no sense in taking any chances, not getting myself locked in, not having given the horse a fair chance to win the race. So I had to leave him out there, and then it was just a question of keeping Joe slowed down.
As we mentioned last week, there will be no trotting Triple Crown winner in 2009. Muscle Hill, who won this year's Hambletonian, opted out of the Yonkers Trot to race in the $200,000 American National Stakes at Balmoral Park, where he set a new track record and stakes record and pulled away at the end under the direction of driver Brian Sears.
Muscle Hill up and alongside and right by Southern Rocky Top. Then it's cruise along. Final 1/8 of a mile for Muscle Hill and Brian Sears, and they are just pulling away. Muscle Hill winning another, takes the American National, and will do it at a mile of 152.3.
This coming Saturday, the $500,000 World Trotting Derby will be next up for Muscle Hill at DuQuoin, Illinois, where Enough Talk's world record of 149.3 may just be in jeopardy. Next, a look at the pacing Triple Crown. The field is now set for the $325,000 Cane Pace Final, the first leg of the pacing Triple Crown, which will be raced at Freehold Raceway on Labor Day afternoon. 6 from this past Saturday's Cane Pace elimination advanced to the final, where they will join Mr. Wiggles and Vintage Master, both of whom were given byes into the final. If I Can Dream won the elimination on a sloppy track in 151.4, confirming his love for a half-mile track. He also became the sport's newest millionaire with this past Saturday's elimination win.
If I Can Dream is only steps away from becoming a millionaire. Arctic Warrior puts on a feeble chase, and If I Can Dream is Harness Racing's newest millionaire.
Our Ken Weingartner spoke with winning driver Jim Morrill Jr.
I was hoping I didn't have to go that much. 26 and a piece to the quarter, because it was just an elimination. But the little horse did it easy, right on cruise. So don't think he hurt him none. He had some left.
Next up, some industry headlines. Harness racing and standardbred horses come to life each month in the colorful pages of Hoof Beats, the sport's most widely read magazine. We call it Reporting with Horsepower. Don't miss a single issue. Subscribe online today. September 2nd may turn out to be one of the most important days in the history of harness racing in the state of Ohio, but we won't know for some time. Yesterday, the Ohio Supreme Court heard a challenge to Ohio Governor Ted Strickland's order to install video lottery terminals at the state's racetracks. The justices will render their verdict sometime over the next few days or weeks, and Governor Strickland hopes they will concur with him and that the machines can be installed and in operation as early as May of next year. Illinois Governor Pat Quinn signed legislation that clears the way for residents of the Prairie State to be able to wager on horse races online. The process of licensing betting companies and setting up rules is being fast-tracked by the regulators at the Illinois Racing Board. Roger Hammer put his name in the Pennsylvania record books this past week at Meadville, Pennsylvania, when he became the first trader to send out the winners of more than $200,000 in a single summer on the fair circuit. With 7 stops yet to go on that one to add to the record, Hammer broke the record held by Roger Hammer. Last year, he trained the winners of over $163,000. Finally, Rockingham Park took time to honor 2 horsemen, Todd O'Day and Walter Ross Jr., for being real-life heroes. The two administered CPR to Andre Gaudet Jr., who was stricken with a heart attack in the paddock at Rockingham Park on July 22nd. Gaudet, we're happy to report, is on his road to recovery and hopes to be back at the racetrack next spring. We add our congratulations to those handed out to those horsemen by Rockingham Park. Up next, a look at the richest race in the sport for 2-year-olds. The Metro Pace eliminations were raced this past weekend at Mohawk Racetrack, where 3 eliminations for 2-year-old pacing colts went postward in the trials for what is the richest 2-year-old race in the sport of harness racing. Sports Rider, driven by Mark McDonald, was the fastest of the 3 elimination winners, and along the way knocked off a 6-5 favorite, Del Marvelous, driven by Corey Callahan. Both advanced to the $1 million final.
Sports Rider strikes the front. Del Marvelous trying to hold on. Rock Me Please gets a peek at the pylons now. Off cover Beignet. Sports Rider with the lead in deep stretch. Del Marvelous going to fight him right to the finish, but Sports Rider will do it again. Sports Rider 4 for 4 as he wins his Metro Pace elimination in 1:51.
Here then is the draw for post positions for the $1 million Metro final, which will go to post this Saturday on the same card as the $700,000 Canadian Pacing Derby final and the $700,000 She's a Great Lady final. Those are just 3 of the rich and important races that will be contested over the long Labor Day weekend. Let's look at the schedule. The response to last week's contest was absolutely overwhelming. Dozens of correct answers to our question, and we drew the winner, who will receive a copy of 100 Years in Harness. Congratulations go out to Eric Poters of Morton Grove, Illinois, who was among all of you who knew the 2004 Yonkers Trot was raced at Hawthorne Racecourse, while Yonkers was being transformed into the nation's most successful racino. I'll be away next week calling the races at the Fulton County Fair in Waseon, Ohio. If you're in the neighborhood, stop by and say hello. TJ Burkett, the managing editor of Hoof Beats magazine, will be in my place here next week to bring you Eye on Harness Racing, a busy show planned. It's the Cane Pace Final, also the World Trotting Derby in Muscle Hill's possible attempt at an all-age world trotting record, and also a grand circuit racing at Mohawk Raceway. 3 very rich races, including the Metro up there, and we'll have some surprises to go with it on that show. Here then, I want you to take a look at this parting shot. Despite what you might think seeing this photo, trainer Jimmy Takter did not have Judge Joe bronzed following his win in the Yonkers Trot. The bronze horse statue, which stands at the entrance to Takter's farm, was presented with the blanket and flowers the next morning. Very funny, Jimmy Takter. I hope the neighbors got a good laugh. We thought it was pretty cool. Thanks for watching.